everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the new movie Black Adam. So in this movie, nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Teth Adam is freed from his earthly tomb and ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. This movie is a lot of fun. I've really had a blast with it. It's action-packed from start to finish, and it feels like an early 2000s Dwayne Johnson movie and an early 2000s superhero movie, and it works very well. Like, as somebody who grew up in the early 2000s and watched a lot of the superhero movies and Dwayne Johnson movies from back then, I really enjoyed it and had a lot of fun with it because I had a lot of nostalgia for both of them and everything, and mixing them together, it worked really well and everything. I will say that the story is pretty good and stuff, but the action takes up most of the running time, but it doesn't really bother me either because I love it when we get action-packed movies with Dwayne Johnson, and I feel like we haven't had a really good action-packed movie like this where he's more taking it seriously in this one than the other ones. He's not as jokey and stuff and everything. Yeah, in fact, he's not hardly jokey at all. There is a little bit of jokes in here, but not very much. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, a lot of the jokes don't really come from Black Adam. I mean, he plays the character pretty straightforward and seriously, and I love that about the movie. I thought that was really cool, and you can really tell that Dwayne Johnson is really passionate about Black Adam and everything. He really brought the character to life really well, and is really did a great job, I thought. And you also get the Justice Society in this movie, and they're a pretty cool team. I enjoyed seeing them and everything. I hadn't really seen anything with them before that I can think of, but I had seen Hawkman before, and I'd heard of Dr. Fate, but I had never heard of Cyclone, and I think I've heard of Atom Smasher, but I don't really remember. But I had never heard of Cyclone before, and I felt like Cyclone and Atom Smasher were kind of underdeveloped and everything. Really, all of the Justice Society characters were kind of a little bit underdeveloped, but they all had likable personalities and were enjoyable and everything, so it doesn't fully bother me. It kind of balanced itself enough where even though you don't really know a lot about them or anything like that, you still like them and everything. And I love the fight scenes, especially the ones between Black Adam and Hawkman. I just think they're a lot of fun and everything. And Hawkman is a character I've always wanted to see in a live-action movie because I've seen him on cartoons and stuff. I think he was on some of the Justice League cartoons I used to watch as a kid. So I always have wanted to see him on one, and I think Aldous Hodge did a really good job playing him. He fit the role pretty well and did a pretty great job, and I think Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was really good too. He does remind me a lot of Doctor Strange and stuff, and I think that from what I understand, Doctor Strange was actually a ripoff of Dr. Fate in the comics and stuff, which is crazy. And I know most people would say that Dr. Fate is a ripoff of Doctor Strange, but I didn't really see it as that. I think the characters are both different enough that they're not exactly alike. They have similar powers, but they're not exactly alike. So, but I think he's a pretty cool character too, and the action scenes are a ton of fun too. Like I said, especially the fights with Black Adam and Hawkman. I love them, but he got some pretty cool ones too at the end of it with the villain of the movie. Sabak is the name of the villain, and he's kind of a mediocre villain. He's kind of one note and kind of reminds me of an early MCU villain, to be honest with you. He doesn't really get a lot to do and everything. He's not that intimidating and kind of just is there to be there. He's not super great, but He's just alright. He's not the best villain, I'm not gonna lie. But and I'll say the visuals in this are pretty good. There's some pretty good visuals when they're fighting and stuff. Some of the CGI looks really good, and then there's some CGI that looks pretty bad too. It's kind of mixed, but most of it looks really good. DC is pretty good with their visual effects and everything. I think that's because they actually take their time on it and aren't rushing everything like Marvel is. As much as I love Marvel, I gotta say they've been rushing stuff so much that they don't let the people do the visual effects the way they need to be done. DC, it seems like they do that with. Of course, this movie's had a lot of time. It's been delayed so many times. They've had enough time to get the visual effects down, and I think they did a good enough job with it. Some of it isn't the best, but some of it also adds to making it feel like an early 2000s superhero movie, so I kind of like it. It kind of gives that adds to it and everything, and just the feel of this movie, seeing Dwayne Johnson being taking a role real serious like he used to, and not being as jokey and stuff, and acting like his old self in the early 2000s, and having this have that early 2000s feel to it. It just felt nostalgic and everything, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun time and everything, and there is little bits of humor, but it doesn't like ruin the movie. It's not overdone like in some stuff nowadays where they just overdo it with the humor and everything. This one, just little bits of humor. Some of it's like a little recurring gag that they try to do in the Thor movie, but I think this movie actually did it way better. It's a little recurring gag with the catchphrase and stuff. I'm not gonna say what the catchphrase is or anything, but it's still it's handled in this movie way better, personally, I think. And I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's definitely really enjoyable. I think it's going to be one that I tend to like even more when I rewatch it and stuff, because I think this is going to end up becoming one of my favorite DCU movies over time. But for right now, it's not one of my very most favorites, but it's definitely really great. And I don't think most of the DCU movies are that bad. And I apologize, I know it's DCU, I'm not used to it yet, so I keep saying DCEU. But I think most of the previous movies are pretty good and everything, and this one is a nice addition to the collection and stuff. So yeah, I think it's an action-packed blast, and it's not perfect, but it's still a lot of fun, and it was a really good introduction to the Black Adam character. And there's also this mid-credit scene that everybody knows what it is. It's been spoiled all over the internet. I'm not going to say it in case somehow you got lucky and haven't heard about what it is, but it was really awesome, and it's got me really excited for the future of the DCU, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they do next with this character and other characters later down the line. It's inevitable. Eventually we'll get to see Black Adam face off against Shazam, and whenever that happens, it's going to be freaking awesome and everything. All I got to say though is Shazam's really got to get his stuff together, because he's going to get his butt whooped if he doesn't. But yeah, so I'd say I'd give Black Adam an 8 out of 10. It was kind of a surprise for me. I didn't expect to like this one as much as I did. I kind of figured I was going to like it, and it looked really good to me, but I was also kind of hesitant because I've heard mixed things about it, so I didn't know what fully 100% whether I would like it or not, because some early 2000 superhero movies weren't the best, but there were a lot of them that I did like, and I feel like this one fell into the camp of the ones that I did like quite a bit. So yeah, so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Black Adam, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.